To get started, go to Try Databricks. You can see the URL here, which is databricks.com/try-databricks. Things you'll need to get started are an email, which will serve as the account owner. So to get started, I've entered my company email here, as well as other information, and we'll go ahead and click Get Started for free. This is going to take us to a screen where we have all three clouds as options. We're going to make sure AWS Web Services is clicked, and we will go ahead and get started. So at this point, this will take you to an email to actually start your trial. So we'll make sure that we're logged into that email. And as soon as we're ready to start, you should see an email that says, "Welcome to Databricks." And you can copy and paste this in the browser. So you should see a screen that looks like this, which will ask you to essentially set your password. We'll go ahead and do that. And in parallel, what you're going to want to do is sign into an AWS account that you own as a cloud admin. So this AWS account is, again, an account that's going to be tied to my Databricks workspace, where things like the VPC, NAT gateways, and all the networking and infrastructure will be deployed. And once I've set my password on the Databricks side, you should see a screen that looks like this. So it's got the subscription plans. Enterprise is typically the option that most of our customers tend to choose because of the networking and privacy that's part of this specific SKU. So we'll go ahead and click Get Started. Okay, so the only things that are going to be needed, again, are things like the workspace name. This should be a unique workspace name to whatever line of business or project that you happen to be working on. Typically, you'd have something like dev, QA, prod to represent which environment you're working in. Right now, we're just going to choose something generic for the purposes of simplicity. So all we're going to do is select the region. This is where the infrastructure is going to get deployed, such as the EC2 instances as part of your clusters. And it will take you to just a quick create stack. So as you can see here, I've got Databricks Workspace Stack, and I'm going to customize this a little bit and just call it Databricks FS Quick Start Stack. This is just going to essentially just be a container for all the different resources that are getting spun up, and AWS manages all this under the hood, so it's very simple to set up. I'm going to go ahead and enter the password here. So this is the password that you just set. This is the Databricks account email address, which is the account owner, and this is the Databricks account ID. So anytime you want to actually use the account ID to spin up infrastructure, you can pick it up off of the Databricks account admin console. It's right here as well, if you want to save that off. I've got my workspace name, my region, which I already set, and I'm going to acknowledge that we are going to get resources created for these custom names. We will go ahead and click Create Stack. So as you can see here, there's a couple other workspaces that have been spun up in the same manner. What we're going to do here is just wait for all of the resources to get spun up. Again, AWS is essentially using a template to create things like the VPC, create the subnets that are going to house the workspace clusters, creating private subnets, as well as the NAT gateway, internet gateway, and all of the routing tables, and setting that up for us. So this is really the simplest, quickest way to actually create a workspace. Should you need to, you can actually take a look at, again, the templates and the stack that are used here in case you want to replicate this for other environments such as QA, UAT, or production. So we'll go ahead and wait for all these resources to get created. Okay, so now as you can see, we have our workspace created. All of these resources that are required for the workspace creation, such as IAM roles, the VPC network configurations, in addition to the S3 bucket, which will serve as root bucket, is complete in addition to the workspace. So all within, let's say, about 5 minutes. So you can see from start to end. If we go back to our Cloud Console, this has changed. So now we see our running workspace, FS Terraform. We see the region, we see things like credential name, and if we want to, we can actually just open up this URL. This will take you to the login page where you can log into the account. As an admin, you can actually enforce things like single sign-on with your identity provider, and you're ready to go and get working.